Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to my podcast, Mindful Drinking for Women, which is just that. I help women get unobsessed with drinking alcohol by getting really honest with themselves about why they are over drinking in the first place, and also how to replace harmful drinking habits with empowered mindfulness, which includes the ability to drink less or to choose not drinking at all. Hi, my name is Jessica Betancourt. I'm a certified life coach and a hypnotherapist, and I specialize in addiction transformation. So, I didn't publish an episode last week because life happens, and all four of my under 7 years old children are home all day in my face and not in summer camp, and I have no family around to help me, and my nanny was away at an ayahuasca retreat, and these are my mom life expat type problems that honestly, with the way that I've been feeling emotionally lately, would have in the past driven me to start drinking at 2 p.m. And in today's episode, I'd love to talk with you about why we use alcohol for stress relief and how to choose to not use alcohol as stress relief. So, we all know what it's like to have a super stressful day and you're just so deep in it. All the needs and wants of other people, the demands of work and home life, and just being an adult in general. We like having the thought of our drink time, which is out there, over there, outside of the stressful situation, which will signify that we have made it. We've made it through the day, and now we can reward ourselves. And that thought alone seems to pull us through the more stressful part of the day because it gives us something to look forward to, something that is outside of this bullshit part of life that we'd rather not be experiencing in the moment. It allows us to mentally distance ourselves from what we don't like in the moment to then jump some place forward into the future where we will be enjoying ourselves, where we can then relax. It's over there. But it allows us to mentally jump out of what we don't want to be in and then therefore kind of be living in the future, thusly not being present. Even though being present in stressful situations sucks, if we're always mentally checking out of a stressful situation, we never really get to learn the tools to deal with the stressor in the first place. And that's why choosing drinking as a stress relief, a form of stress relief, consistently and constantly backfires on us. It takes us away from being capable problem solvers to actually deal with the cause of the discomfort at its source. So the problem arises when this mentality happens over and over again every day. So what started as like a one-off eventually became a daily occurrence. And then the weekend drinking is based on the premise of unwinding and letting loose and relaxing, right? Something a little different, but it's the same thing. And this is how you end up drinking every day. And this is how a seemingly harmless habit initially compounds upon itself to eventually look more like a problem than a pleasure when you start to really look at it and want to have freedom from it, and when you want to change it. But you've already created these really strong habits. You've ritualized them and made them part of your routine. So initially, maybe you thought you were drinking for stress relief, but then on a day when you're actually not stressed, you just drink anyway because you've created that placeholder, that pattern in your day. So, one thing that you can immediately do to cut back on how much you're actually drinking is to identify where and when you are reaching for alcohol to help you manage your stress and name it. Acknowledge what it is that you are actually doing. So, this behavior has probably been happening for so long and it has gone on autopilot. So try to be very conscientious and aware about when you are hoping that a drink will somehow magically take your stress away. And then once you get real about those moments, once you can catch yourself in real time, you want to observe what you are thinking. What are you telling yourself about alcohol right then and there? And you might not even be aware of it, but every action you take is first dictated by a thought. And if it is a habit of action, it is governed by a habit of thought, a thought that is the same that you keep repeating over and over again. And if you've been telling yourself certain thoughts for a long enough time, those thoughts can and will start to feel like beliefs, and you will believe them to be true. You will own them like they're truths for you. That's what beliefs are. And we make up our beliefs. We make up our own beliefs. We believe them to be true and then we act on them. But when we stop questioning why we think what we think, that's when we get into, ruts and negative habits and stuck places that we feel like we can't get out of. So, for example, if you have a habit of automatically drinking at the end of each day, it probably started as a form of relieving your stress, like going to get a drink after work, going to happy hour, buying some alcohol on the way home just to drink to relieve yourself of the stress of the day. And you told yourself at one point something like, I am so stressed out right now, I could really go for a drink. And then you did, and it was fine. And so you did it again and again and again. Stressful day, have a drink. Another stressor, another drink. And your thoughts went from, I could really use a drink to, I really need a drink. I have to have a drink right now. Because you've established that really strong habit. But the habit is in place because of what you keep telling yourself about it. Because the more you drink to handle your stress, the less you are even available, able, capable of managing the causes of your stress in the first place. And if you're not available to do that, then bummer, they're never going to change because you are the only one who can do that. And when you drink, you numb out the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that makes logical, rational decisions. And so if you're drinking to solve a problem, you're never going to be available mentally to solve that problem. The stressor will persist and the habit will persist. So pay attention to what you're telling yourself when you feel stressed out and you go to have a drink to make the stress go away. Are you thinking, this will help me? I need this rosé right now. I can't wait to have a drink tonight. What are you actually saying to yourself? Because thoughts generally are not audible, but just pay attention. What is going on in your head? What are you saying to yourself? Because those thoughts are so key to uncovering which hidden beliefs you need to start uncovering and reframing. So slow down. Take a breath. Don't immediately grab a drink when you're triggered. Don't just open a bottle without thinking about why you're actually doing it. And be honest with yourself that you have thoughts and beliefs that alcohol is somehow helping you manage your life. Because no one likes to admit that what they're thinking or believing is wrong or incorrect, but guess what? We all do it. And this life can be crazy. This world is crazy sometimes. And so it seems highly appropriate that we want and need some relief from the stress and pressure of living in it. But the sad thing is that if we continually tune out from the things that drive us nuts, we'll never be present enough to actually change the circumstances themselves. See, I've got 2 little boys, one is a baby and one is potty training, and 2 little girls, both with major attitudes. I've been living in a house under construction for a year and a half, and my husband smokes tons of weed and doesn't hear kids crying. I get it. I get it. It's so stressful sometimes. But if I go to open a beer or a bottle of wine, every time I get pissed off or annoyed, I will be drunk mommy in a house of heathens forever. You see? And I was totally headed in that direction until I just couldn't take that anymore. I was just tired of my own bullshit. And I started calling myself out about what I was actually thinking, about what I was doing. So if I'm drinking hoping to change my outer world, my outer circumstances, my experience. It's never going to happen. And in fact, it will probably get worse. So the reality is that we need deeper change within our own personal systems and healthier modalities and lifestyle choices to manage our stress in the first place. Not to take our brains out of the equation by drinking and then just crossing our fingers that it will all go away or just get better on its own. Because at the center of your life, the activator, the cause of everything that you experience is you. So recognize when you are about to drink because of stress, and then ask yourself, what are your thoughts right then? Try to not immediately react and imbibe. Just wait a moment. Just wait a moment and acknowledge that you're having these feelings, these thoughts. Watch yourself and just see how you don't die if you don't have that drink on your first impulse. And you have probably made up a belief that you somehow need it. But in fact, that is something that you made up. It is not an undeniable truth. It's not universal law. You put that belief there to serve you at a time when it all made sense. But if you're questioning your drinking, you've got to start questioning your beliefs. You've got to start questioning your thoughts. We all make up our own beliefs, and we all believe our own lies, and it serves us to a point until it doesn't, until it has become problematic, and we can see that our lives are not benefiting from it anymore. And that is the time, that's the point you want to start looking at the internal dialogue that is keeping this whole engine running. So, if you're serious about wanting to change your drinking habit, you've got to get really honest with yourself about what your repeated thoughts are. And acknowledge that your stress does not disappear when you drink, and that there are infinite alternatives for relieving stress rather than drinking. Drinking is not self-care. I feel so effing stressed sometimes. I get it. And I also understand that if I drink to try to make it go away, then I am sinking further into a vicious cycle that will have no end in sight. So breathe deeply through those stressful situations. Let yourself cry, drink ice water, go outside, ask for help. Stop trying to do it all. Start to examine this belief you have that drinking is somehow helping you with stress, that it is a belief that you put there and you make it stronger every time you act on it. So even if you do decide to have the drink in that situation, acknowledge why you are having it. Don't hide from what you're doing. Be honest with yourself about what you are thinking right before you think about drinking. That is all I have for you today. Thank you for tuning in. I'll be back again next week. And if you'd like some support managing stress from the inside out, I am now offering monthly drop-in hypnotherapy sessions at a low cost. And this first one will be August 4th, Thursday, August 4th at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you would like to try some hypnotherapy to help you regulate your nervous system and help you to relieve stress, to be more tolerant of stressors in general, you can find the link for that event in the show notes below. Have a beautiful day, and remember to take deep breaths and pause to think about why you're doing what you're doing. Pause to think about why you're about to drink. Have a great day. I'll see you soon.